Isekai.
The Rebirth of the Malicious Empress of Military Lineage. Chapter 60. Room. This. Ren Wanyun was somewhat hesitating if she were to stay with Shen Miao, and if she was to meet with any unexpected misfortune, it would be difficult for Ren Wanyu to escape from obligations. Not waiting for her to think out of a better way, Shen Miao continued speaking. If Shen Shen is not willing, then it is also alright, if either eldest sister or second older sister is willing to squeeze with me. Shen Yu's gaze flashed, but she did not speak. Even though Shen Qing did not know what her mother was planning, she could vaguely guess that this trip was targeted at Shen Miao. Additionally, she currently did not bother to conceal the hate she had for Shen Miao. Naturally, she coldly said, "I am used to living alone." As such, Shen Miao muttered gently, "Then I would go with Fifth Lady to stay at the Northern Pavilion." Shen Miao's words were not even finished when Ren Wanyun spoke. She was afraid that Shen Miao would change things at this time again, and thinking that even though they were to stay together, she could still stay somewhat further away so that the blame will not fall on her. Since the heavens were high, and the emperor far away, Shin Xin would not be able to say anything of her at that time, as the truth was such. Shen Miao smiled faintly, then, "Many thanks for second Shen Shen's accompaniment." Her words were polite, however, Ren Wanyun could not help but frown. Nevertheless, she instantly put on a smiling face. "We are after all one family." After settling the living arrangement, the next thing was to tidy things up. Because Shen Qing and Shen Yu were a little tired, they did not eat the vegetarian food together, and went back to their rooms. After reaching the Northern Pavilion, without waiting for Ren Wanyun to speak, Shen Miao said, "I also feel very tired, and would not be taking the meal with second Shen, and head directly to the room first." Ren Wanyun was surprised for a moment before smiling. "Then suit yourself. If one is tired, then rest early." Shen Miao nodded in agreement. When the young monk who led the three of them, mistress, and servants, to the room, Shen Miao could not help but sigh with admiration. Indeed, in such a cold and desolate temple like Wolong Temple, this room was particularly elegant. The side was lined with a small forest which made it quiet, and even though the furnishings in the room were simple, they revealed exquisiteness everywhere. When one sees it, one's heart would feel happy. "The scenery here is really beautiful." Guyu was unexpectedly surprised, replying to Shizu, "Only honorable guests can stay in this particular room." The residence's Furon had instructed to leave this precious room for Shizu. The young monk said as his head lowered, "Help me to thank second Shen's good intentions." Shen Miao said lightly, but her eyes were looking around. This room was located at the innermost of the Northern Pavilion, which meant that the surroundings were inaccessible. So if one were to scream, it would be useless. It was rare to see that they even seal off any survival route. As for the exquisite layout of the room, one was afraid that it was out of the convenience of that person to use. "What is this incense?" Jings picked up a few sticks of incense on the table, and put them to her nose to smell. "It is similar to orchids, but is more fragrant than orchids." Her eyes fell onto the orchid-designed incense burner. "This incense burner is also very unique." Guyu saw it, and also smiled. It seemed that the temple has also specifically inquired that young lady likes to light incense before sleeping. Since young lady is tired at night, one will light it up before bedtime so that young lady can sleep well at night. Now, one feels that this Wolong Temple is not bad. Jings was laughing, and joking. No wonder, even though it is located deep in the forest, Second Furen still arranged to come over to pray. Shen Miao's brows are slightly wrinkled. She walked forward a little, and took the incense in Jing's hands, and smelled it. After smelling it, her brows tightened. When the two girls saw it, they asked in hesitation, "Young lady, is there anything wrong with this incense?" Anything abnormal was evil. In Shen Miao's mind, after entering Wolong Temple, she had not put her heart down. The more the place was proper, the more she could see the danger in it. She had the habit of putting incense before she sleeps, as females often like delicate things, and the incense burner was lovely. Even if one were to play, a normal female would light up the incense to match the quiet and elegant environment here. But, to her, it was not the case. The females who survived in the inner palace would use all kinds of means and methods to climb up, and in Shen Miao's past life, where she was the mistress of the 6 palaces for so many years, naturally, she could make discerning judgments. These kinds of shameful things, she had seen too many of it. As for the aphrodisiac in the incense, it was a common method that the concubines would play with. If she was a normal unmarried young lady, naturally she would not have heard of such things. It is not a good thing at all. Her hand loosened, and those incenses fell down. Gu Yu and Jings were surprised, and looked at one another. After a moment Jing said, "Then should I throw these things away?" "No need." Shen Miao's gaze landed on those incenses that fell. Ren Wanyun, and that person had spent so much thought and effort to prepare such a good gift for her, and it would be a pity if it was wasted. A sneer suddenly appeared on her lips. "Keep it. There would be a time to use it." In the room that overlooked far from Shen Miao's room, Ren Wanyun sat on the couch, and facing an old woman who was hunching back. It was not someone else, but Gui Momo. "You know of today's matter. After it is successful, naturally you will benefit from it, but, if it fails..." Ren Wanyun lightly coughed. "I do not need to tell you what kind of ending it would be." When she spoke, there were not any of the usual amiable appearances, and her eyes made one cold. Gui Momo flattered with a smile. "Furen, rest assured, everything is handled by this old servant, and when this old servant does things, naturally there would not be any mistakes. It is expected that tonight would go on smoothly." Ren Wanyun's expression only then eased down before she said, "I naturally trust you since you are the closest person to Fifth Lady. What we do is for the Shen residents. When Fifth Lady becomes sensible in the future, she would know the pros and cons, and naturally would know that you are doing it for her own good, and would not treat you unfairly." Gui Momo nodded her head in agreement, but her heart was filled with contempt. If Shen Miao knew of the matter in the future, it would not be strange for her to hate her to death, and how would she treat her well? Thinking of what would be happening tonight, Gui Momo could not help but be somewhat frightened. She did not think that this Shen family's second Shen Furen, who always had an amiable appearance, would think of such a vicious and cruel method. After all, if this matter fell on any unmarried female, it would be a life of death rather than living. In the next moment, she saw Ren Wanyun looking at Kaiju, who was sitting beside her, and Kaiju beamed as she took a sachet out, and placed it onto Gui Momo's hands. Will trouble Gui Momo to look over the matter for this time too. Gui Momo pinched it with her fingers, and when she found that the weight of the sachet was not light, happiness immediately bloomed on her face. Will definitely let Furen be satisfied. After saying a few more sentences, Gui Momo got up and left. Furen really want to rest here tonight? Xiang Lan asked. This is after all the same area as Fifth Young Lady's room. It matters not. Ren Wanyun waved her hands unconcernedly. Tomorrow morning, what I say would be what it is. Cannot say precisely, but When eldest Bo returns, one fears that there will not be anyone who knows of the matter. Her laughter was somewhat vicious. Eldest Bo, eldest Sao, who ask you all to block my King Er's road?